we'll have this discussion.
Discussion? What discussion?
This is a discussion combustion.
Coming to you from Denver, Colorado. This is Discussion Combustion Podcast with your hosts, Kevin Batstone and Arthur Rawe.
It's a great day to be in the studio. We are happy to be back here at DCPC headquarters in Jamie's basement here. It's really good, man. I've been having a fantastic day and just feeling fortunate. You know, it's been one of those count my blessings week where I'm just, seeing a lot of the great things around me and taking time to appreciate that. And it's been helping. It's been helping out, man, because we have things coming like lockdowns on its way back.
It's coming, man.
And we got to stay positive. And I feel very, very fortunate, and I know we are as a podcast, to have such great sponsorship. And guys, that we are brought to you by Wild Outdoor Adventures, and that's WOAMEET.com.
That's right, guys. That's where you're going to go for a little bit of less streaming and more exploring. It's getting yourself outdoors. It's connecting with others. It's doing a lot of fun things. And they just launched their merchandise site over there, so you can get yourself some of their gear, their hats, their shirts. They're real excited about that, getting their brand and their logo out there, because that's how you get known. And Wild Outdoor Adventures really is more than an online outdoor activity community. It's designed to bring people together. It has specific programs for teens, for veterans. That's what's great about it. It's free to sign up, guys. It's an easy-to-use website. That's the best part. You go over there, you go, what's going on here? I see what's going on. I'm about to get myself outdoors.
Absolutely. And if you're an outdoor company, you sell outdoor gear, you could partner up with WOA and, help endorse on each other's websites and also offer discounts to customers through their website. So they're a great company. Their website's easy to use. They are Colorado based. So if you're from in-state or from out of state and you just want to get involved, it's a great place to go. Blogs, you could ask questions. It's truly It's a place that connects people, for sure.
And that's what we need. I know we might be heading into a lockdown situation, but when it's all over, and the smoke clears and the dust settles, the outdoors are still there. Get out there and see those lakes and streams, hit those trails, social distance yourself, whatever you got to do, you can still connect with people along the way. Even if you are just doing their online blogging, talking about what's the plans for next summer, what's some trails I can be hitting. That's the best part. So head on over there to the free to use website. That's WOAMEET.com for a little bit of less streaming and more exploring.
Absolutely. Discussion Combustion is also brought to you by a Mountain Made CBD. To get all your crystal clear CBD products, you're going to want to go to mountainmade.life.
So we're going to stock up on it, guys. You've heard about it, that build, boost, recover, puff, and now, boom, they got that dog product out there.
Just put it in the bowl and bam.
Put it in the bowl and bam, and your pups are going to be ready to rip, tater chip. It's got that glucosamine, it's got the magnolia, and it's got 10 milligrams of CBD to take care of our furry friends. Great, take advantage of that auto ship, auto pay feature. Roll that in there. You're already over there putting your build, boost, recover in there.
Auto discount with that.
You're going to save big time when you bundle and save. You don't have to worry about it, just like a monthly subscription service. But look, you guys have heard us talk about it, week after week. It truly is the clearest, the purest, most affordable CBD on the market. With their online, easy-to-use website as well, you don't even have to go to the shops to get it. Just put in your information. That stuff's coming right to your door.
Absolutely. And if you are a dispensary or a place that would like CBD on your shelves, definitely check them out, mountainmade.life. They're set up with all the regulations, and they have product ready to ship right now. Right. Nationwide, it's a Colorado company, but nationwide service.
Nationwide shipping, guys, makes it real easy. So be sure to stock up on all those crystal clear CBD products. Check out some of their merchandise, their hashtag Go Like Hell programs, offering a lot of great services. You can find them on all social media platforms as well. And that's that hashtag Go Like Hell mentality.
Go like hell, baby.
Hey, man. Here we are again.
We got a solo tonight.
It's been a while.
We got a solo.
Since the
it's only been 2 weeks.
Yeah, since the election.
This is our most frequent. This is like we haven't had two solos so close.
Yeah, you guys
in a while now.
You guys are used to, hearing us banter with some guests, but it's just Arthur and I tonight. Guest arrangements didn't quite work out. We're in Denver. There might be some COVID restrictions coming. We're going to have to prepare for that, man. I don't know what to expect yet.
Friday, is Douglas County part of that?
Douglas County is part of it.
Okay, yeah, because I know Denver is definitely...
The 15 major counties.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's happening again, and, I feel like we've been pretty safe in the studio here as far as... we're about 6 feet apart, but we don't really get too close or hug or do much of that.
That's good.
And same with the homeowners. Like we keep our space, we keep distance. So I believe we'll be able to continue to come in here and do this as long as guests feel safe. We'll continue to have guests in, but it's it's up in the air right now.
Yeah, I mean, just like it was back in March, April when the shutdown happened, we didn't really know what to expect then. We obviously know more now, but it's going to depend on how things pan out. Yeah, we have wipes, we got sanitizer, we have the things in place to try and do our part. No, we don't wear masks when we shoot.
Yeah, but I mean, neither of us have it right now, though. Either.
No, and I've been tested 3 times this year.
Yeah,
and I'm going to try to get a 4th test before I go to Thanksgiving with the family because
How have you been enjoying the brain swab? Is what they are called, I guess.
Yeah, I don't really. I mean, it's not as bad as some people make it out to sound, but
yeah,
it's been a little while since I had one, but I'm looking to get another one before Thanksgiving because I'm planning on going to see the folks.
It's just so weird how it's like 0 symptoms, you know, like how that's part of it, and then there's people with massive symptoms.
Right. It's very inconsistent.
There's just so many variations of how it affects the immune system for every individual.
It's very
wild.
inconsistent, person to person. I mean, just like any virus, I would think. Some people get the flu really bad some years. Some people get a bad head cold.
Yeah.
I usually get sick about once a year.
I got sick January last year.
That's
in
when I got
2020,
sick.
Actually this year.
Yeah, that's when I got a little bit ill. But and that's the thing is, people think, well, I don't have any symptoms, so I don't have it. But you don't know that until you get tested, kind of thing. But how reliable are these tests at the same time? We've seen a lot of inconsistencies.
So the rapid tests, obviously, there's not as much accuracy with the rapid testing, but your normal test, where it's like 2 or 3 days afterwards, that's going to have more accuracy.
Well,
that's what I'm hearing out there.
Yeah.
And so my girl, she got the rapid and the normal one. She just played it safe and was negative on both.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't hurt to get a test. If you're not feeling symptoms and you test negative, obviously that's great. If you do feel symptoms and then you test negative, that's where it's a little bit like, okay, well, what is it then?
Yeah.
Right. And that's what we're at. It's cold and flu season again. Allergies ramping up. It's getting cold.
Yeah.
They said when winter came around, it was going to be, another dark winter or whatever. But even places that are warm, Arizona, Texas,
it's
Florida. I don't know the temperature much
well,
matters.
that's the thing is the count's going to continue to increase because the tests continue to increase. So the count's going to continue to rise. And there's no other path for this thing other than to go through human. Like, there's no other. It's not going to go anywhere. Like, you're not going to eradicate the virus.
And
So it has to take its course. And I completely agree with being safe, wearing a mask, and social distancing, and respecting people's space in public, and washing your hands frequently, and just taking all the precautions. But I still got to live.
Well, everybody's still got to go on with their life, and it's interesting. You look at Colorado's been one of the tightest restricted states as far as mask mandates. Now, is everybody abiding by that? No, but I work in retail. I'm out there in the stores, and people are masked up.
Yeah.
So, you got to ask yourself how are these spikes happening all of a sudden at the same time? Just at the same time of year, all over the country. I mean, California's been shut down since the get.
Well, it has to be the testing.
The testing is what's causing the spike. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's already been there.
Yeah, the more tests you have, the more positive
the
cases
spike
you're
has
going
already
to
been
expose.
There. Yeah.
I read an article today, a lot of articles today, that down in Phoenix, Arizona, they're doing a lot of antibody testing. And they're saying, they're speculating in this one county where a lot of people are getting tested, that 10% probably had it.
But they're not.
They were asymptomatic because they had.
Did they have antibodies then?
They had that's what it was. It was the antibody testing.
Yeah.
And maybe at some point I'll get that, but I don't know.
I don't know if I've had it. No.
Well, how could you know?
This was earlier on where it was like, all these fictitious things probably, like, where it's like, if smokers are less likely to get it.
It's all bullshit
and all this sort of stuff, and I've thought to myself, maybe Puff and Tough has helped me out, but I realized that could be complete satire and has nothing to do with anything,
Well, so the CDC decided to make some new suggestions for the holiday season today, and I find this very interesting. So the CDC has now suggested that Americans ditch singing, they ditch loud music, and alcohol for the holidays for the pandemic.
Ditch singing?
Yep, and so they're I guess the singing, being that they're expressing their into the air. The loud music also echoes the fact that people have to talk louder over it, which could also introduce more
that makes sense
contaminants into the air. And then alcohol, I guess, would also be for the same.
Yeah, people get way lax.
People get a little bit rowdy on booze.
They do, but they also they don't care as much. Dude, there's a bar, I'm not going to call it out, close to where I live, but there's a couple of them, and one I really like, Congress Park Tap Room. I'll call that one out. Mark's doing a great job in there, keeping everybody social distance. He was on one of our earlier audio only episodes, so you guys should check that one out. But yeah, they're doing a great job there. There's a couple other bars in the area where I had been into them, and there was just there's too many people and not enough social distancing, and it seemed a little like, okay, this isn't sanitary for COVID times, and so we stopped going in there.
Sure.
I'll only visit a place if I trust what the establishment's doing.
Yeah, that makes sense. And look, people aren't going to give up their booze and their partying if they don't have to, unless they're forced to. I can say the Halloween party that I attended had upwards of 50 to 75 people throughout. And
that's a large number in COVID times.
Yeah, it's a pretty large number. This was back in the end of October, but the fact remains, everybody came out well on the other side of that.
No one was sick.
No one reported any sort of symptoms or illnesses following that. That doesn't mean there wasn't asymptomatic things being passed around. But, like Pennsylvania just said today, I think the governor came out and said that he is going to, you certainly can't mandate it, but they are going as far as to say that you need to be wearing masks in your house.
What?
They want masks on in the house.
But why? Like, you live in this household with... See, that doesn't make sense to me, because unless if you have like a household with children going to school and things...
That's being eliminated now too.
Which it should until the government actually has a plan that they could give to every school district to open safely. So that needs to be in place before schools start to do their thing, personally, is what I think. But as far as the house thing goes, like... if you have active people that have to leave for whatever reason, for work or construction,
essential workers.
Yeah, and so maybe if you're in the common area in your household, then maybe mask. But if you're in your private space, then don't. And that's just, because if I go visit my brother and my mom or whatever, like I'll wear a mask, and I'll stay. I practice the same social distancing stuff that I do if I go to Congress Park Tap Room,
Right.
So it's like I could see that, but only in specific households. And yeah, how do you enforce that?
You can't. That's the thing. It could be a recommendation,
yeah,
and it's gonna instill in people that you need to be wearing a mask indoors, and we'll see how it goes. I'm planning on doing Thanksgiving with mom and dad next week. It'll be just the four of us, my girlfriend and I, and mom and dad. And if we have to do it that way, so be it. I've only visited my folks a couple times this year, and we've done pretty good at.
Well, that's what I would do. Is like you show up, you say hello from a distance. They let you in. You keep your mask on, and then once you sit down, you guys sit apart. But once you sit down, take your mask off. But if you're up moving around, just common courtesy, just in case. Like it's not hard just to slip a mask on.
No, it isn't.
And that's your parents you're talking about. So
right.
it's like do you want to? So it's like, yeah, just it's easy to do inside of a personal household too, if you feel like you want to protect the people there. And it's not hard. It's really not that hard.
No, I never said it was a difficult task. I just questioned the relevance of it, and we just haven't seen enough evidence to suggest that masks are slowing the spread, because we're seeing such a massive spike. So what's it really doing, other than prohibiting people's breathing?
Well, you get the same amount of oxygen.
I'm out of breath all day, bro. I got to wear it all day at work. I can't breathe.
I've done that before too, but you do get the same amount of oxygen. Like you're not depleting yourself. It's just a little more difficult. It's something on your face. It's unnatural. So of course you feel like, the mind will play tricks on you. It's like being claustrophobic.
Sure.
But truly you're getting the same amount of oxygen, and people have jogged miles in masks, and doctors wear 2 masks, so you can breathe through those things, and it's just, if you're carrying it, it's going to decrease, because the little spit particles, and so I think the masking does help. I really do.
Maybe it does. Maybe, we'll find out, I think, in due time. But, it's, here we are. It's a holiday season, and, there's going to be a lot of restrictions coming.
So we've hit over the 1 year mark. I think it was October 17th or either November 7th. It was one of the two, but that's when China's first thing came out of the COVID. So it's officially over a year old. when they first discovered it in China.
And look how much damage has been done.
A lot.
Quite a bit.
Yeah, it's changed the planet like nothing else. I was brainstorming about this, and our generation, we're kind of fortunate because, so first of all, we were on the tail end of like no smartphones. So we got to grow up without the smartphone in hand. We got to play outside, and experience life without the internet, which is this whole monster within it. So we talk about that all the time. So first of all, our generation got to experience that. We get to experience the awesome technology too. We still got to experience that. And then we also got to experience the awesome technology before the pandemic happened, because it's a new world now. It's a shift in time. There's different periods in humanity, and when this first happened, a new period in humanity started. I truly believe that. So we also were fortunate enough to live our lives, pre-pandemic. Because kids growing up right now that are like 3 or 4, they're always going to remember having masks on.
It's become the norm. Yeah.
And this is a new period in humanity. That's how I feel about it. And
oh yeah,
it's kind of different when you look at it like that. We're seeing a shift in economics and personality traits and so many different sections. It's like, it's wild.
This will forever be stamped in the history books. 2020, no question. The pandemic, it'll forever be remembered as how humanity changed, adapted, overcame it. We'll see how this thing progresses and how other countries do it, how we're going to do it. Pfizer, what is it, 95% effective or 94.5%? They're saying this thing's ready to rip, and they could probably have it to the common man by early spring. Obviously the essentials will get it first, the doctors, the hospitals, and then the common folk and the elderly, they'll get it as well before the common man, I believe. So it'll be interesting to see as we transition into vaccines being widely available, how this thing will either calm down or how we're going to then go back to a safer at home or, still wearing masks in public areas. With going back to social events, I've heard some speculation, Live Nation and Ticketmaster are considering, in order for you to attend an event over the next 2 years, you're either going to have to have had the vaccine, which is extremely, I don't agree with that at all.
Because you have to show your medical records then.
Yeah, it's just too invasive. It's just too invasive. I mean, to micromanage it that way, I think is absolutely ridiculous. Or have a COVID test. I think I can get behind that a little bit more than having to have a mandatory vaccination to attend in a social event.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it all depends, how paranoid people continue to get. And I mean, we'll see how this winter goes. When it first happened, I was like, was this going to be like a couple months, 3 months, maybe 4 months? And then like after it was like 2 months in, I was like, oh, this is going to easily be over a year. And so I could totally see this thing going till winter 2021 and beyond. Like I said a long time ago, I was talking about how I feel like it's going to be over a year and a half before a good vaccine is actually out and like truly doing its thing. And then it's going to at least take like several years for other things to normalize. And that's not even talking about the economic effect that this is going to have. It's caused a splash, and the wave is going to ripple, and it's going to take time.
Oh, the wave is definitely going to ripple. We won't even begin to see the economic effects of this for probably a couple of years. The more stimulus packages that we pass and the more businesses that go under because of this, cryptocurrency becomes more valuable than ever, because the dollar is going to continue to depreciate. The more money that we print that we don't have to support this is just, that's where it's headed, is a cryptocurrency. I don't really understand it. I'm trying to get involved with it. I own some of it, and it makes sense as to why that's where it's going to head, as obviously precious metals, gold and silver. Gold's going to hold its value. Silver, questionable. Cryptocurrency makes sense as how we're going to transition the value of how we spend our money in the next 10 years. Why it's that way, I don't know. I mean, we've talked about before. There's 21 million of these things in the Bitcoin per se, but there's talk about world cryptocurrency coming into effect. I think that's something that's gonna be very, very relative in our lifetime. Is a very different currency than what we're used to with the U.S. dollar, the pound, the yen, so on.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. There's always going to be evolution of any industry, and how currency works, that also will grow. So I could agree with that. I don't know much about the Bitcoin stuff and all the cryptocurrency, like, how to use it, where to use it, like I don't know all that, but I know it's a hot topic. And when it first came out, that stuff was like, everyone was talking Bitcoin when it first came out.
Sure. Yeah, and it just hit its all-time high for the first time in 3 years as far as its value for American dollar. It's at just over 17,000 right now. So a lot of people are moving their money towards crypto. And it's only been around for less than a decade, so there's still a lot to learn with it on how this transition is going to take place. But, places like PayPal and a lot of other online money moving services are now rolling in cryptocurrency and Bitcoin into a payable option and or a holding option of crypto.
Yeah. Yeah. See, if I was just smarter in my late 20s, I would have more money to play around with. I'd probably join you in the stock market trading and start learning that. But you need to have a little bit to get in, so I'm trying to build up my savings, but that's definitely something that I'm getting more and more interested in as I keep hearing about it, because, why not? If you could kind of do this throughout the day, touch it for maybe accumulation of 15 minutes throughout the day, a couple times, but then make some extra money, why not?
It's totally doable. It's intimidating for most at first, and I never claimed to be a stock expert by any means or any stretch of imagination, but there is some simple things and simple ways to make money in the stock market.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see where the market goes here in the next year.
It's gonna be a rocky one, with the transition of president and how that's not even going smooth. Like, like most presidents hand that off with gracious tremendousy. The current president is not doing that for the elect.
And we knew that
should be. Yeah,
we knew that was coming. That
was silly playground games.
We knew that was going to be a
wait
part
for this to be over.
Yeah, and it's coming. But we were all expecting a huge correction in the market throughout the selection process. When you look back at the year of 2000, when there was a contested election, the sectors dropped anywhere from 25 to 30%. We didn't see that. We saw a pretty good sized correction in October, which some experts would say that's it being priced in. We're planning for this Biden presidency, so the market's adjusted around that. But then there's other speculation that it's you can't use those old forecasts anymore. It's different now.
It is different.
And there's always areas to put your money in. It's just you got to play the market differently now. Like I was telling you before we went on air, move our ETFs over to wind and solar, tech, those kind of things. There's still going to be a way to make money in it. And I'll probably lose a lot along the way. I'll probably make some on the way. But,
well, I mean, you got to spend money to make money. That's
right.
The only way it's possible. So let's jump into a would you rather.
Okay.
Because we hit these late last episode. They're like late on. And since it's just us, I want to hit some of these. So
I forgot we were even recording.
This one, this one is one I'm going to read.
Okay.
Would you rather be able to never be able to use toothpaste again?
Oof.
So no toothpaste for the rest of your life, or no shampoo for the rest of your life?
I think I'll probably go with the no shampoo.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm already probably going to have to get my teeth fixed at some point in life, so I could go that route and say, well, fuck it. But
just imagine, though.
Yeah, it's hard to go without toothpaste.
Yeah, that's like
I'll find another way to clean my hair.
Yeah, you could even just scratch it really good, or like
I don't know if that's going to clean it.
Oh no, this is what you do to clean it. You get 5 balloons, and then
I don't know.
You static all that up.
But what do you really? I mean, you're going to get maybe some of the debris out of there.
I'm kind of thinking of it. No, but
there's got to be a way to clean it outside of shampoo.
You could just straight up just rinse it.
Yeah, you just rinse it,
and it would get greasy, but there's no way I'm going without toothpaste. Like,
no, I don't think so.
When I wake up, the first thing I do is log onto my work computer, and then I brush my teeth. I get logged in, so I'm online, and then I go brush my teeth. Is the very next thing I do.
Do you brush before bed?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm a before bed brusher.
I do skip occasionally, and I feel guilty when I do that.
See, I would much rather brush before bed than not brush before I leave for work. Because I'm going to be drinking coffee anyway, so it's it's not quite...
But the morning breath.
I know, but I'm just saying, if I had to pick one, if I'm going to would you rather brush at night or in the morning?
I'm going
night.
I'm going morning guy.
All right.
Yeah, so that's fine. I love it when we disagree. Yeah, toothpaste. Yeah, shampoo. Meh. So, would you rather have a face that everybody laughed at,
They already do.
or have a name that everybody laughed at? You can't change your name.
I don't know, because we had a guy in NASCAR, and his name is Dick Trickle. Okay.
Okay, that's pretty.
So that would be a name that's laughed at.
Yeah.
And Dick Trickle committed suicide.
Oh.
And he said it was for reasons of he had like massive headaches and a lot of those things. But
Feel bad for laughing though.
with a name like that, you can imagine the amount of bullying that probably took place.
Yeah.
So a face or a name? I think I'll take the name.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I know we're in mask. It's 2020, so we all wear masks. You can kind of hide some of that.
Yeah.
But I think the name would be a little bit easier to deal with. I mean, yeah, you can't change it. Sure, you can change your face. You can go look like a lizard or something, but you could change your name
so
too.
you would rather have the name.
That's laughed at.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Me too. Yeah. For a second, I thought you were saying that you'd rather have a good name. Yeah. See, I would rather have a bad name
Than a bad face.
than a bad face.
Yeah, because I mean, the bad face.
Because you could come up with a nickname.
Right.
There's workarounds on that. Like the workaround on, like you couldn't let's say you can't legally change your name, but you can have a nickname. So what's the workaround? If your face isn't good, then you got to go through surgery.
Yeah, I mean, and some people are like, whatever, this is just who I am.
And honestly, people who are sitting here laughing at people's faces, that's not right, y'all.
Well, people are
That's
gonna.
not right.
People are always gonna be laughing at something. That's just a part of humanity. I mean,
Yeah, until you hit 18 years old.
No,
and you're
no,
starting to become an adult.
That doesn't stop it though. People are in their 70s and they're poking
That's true.
fun.
That's
But
true.
Here's what I want to know.
Well, I just thought of a quote, and then you get into it. You can't help but grow old, but you can help acting old. God, I didn't do it right. Okay, you go.
The only thing I was gonna say, because backpedaling off the name thing.
Yeah.
How the hell do we get the short term name Dick from Richard?
I don't know.
There has to be something I don't know in the English language around
Richard.
that. Someone's probably gonna message us.
Yeah. Someone could let us know because I have no idea. But it's goofy and it's like Bobby coming from Robert. Like,
Yeah.
how do you get Bob?
That I can see a little bit more though.
Robert, Bob. I don't know.
I could see that more than Dick from Richard.
Yeah.
It just
Yeah, I hear you. So I got one more. I got
Okay.
one more of these. This one's a little bit more about overall living. Just would you rather have a peaceful existence where you never have to worry about troubles in your life? Just complete
lackadaisical.
it's just whatever, or live a normal life full of risk and challenge. I mean, obviously we all live the normal life. So try to think about like a life that's just completely peaceful. Like you'd have to be like a Buddhist monk or something where you're just on the mountainside, just with nothing but your daily routine that you do every single day.
So it's either that or the hustle and bustle with.
Well, no, I'm thinking like, how do you have a peaceful life in existence without, risk and challenge?
Risk and challenge, I think, are a part of life.
Well, yeah.
So would I rather have that or be a monk, basically?
Well, no, or just have a peaceful existence. Like, let's say like everything's catered to you. Like you're not a monk. Let's just say that like everything was like your whole life, everything was already taken care of, silver spoon sort of thing. Like, you never really had to, work hard. You never really had any major failures to teach you lessons. Like you just kind of went through your whole life like that. I mean, you wouldn't know any different.
I suppose. I think I'm going to take the hard knocks, man. I like, I like getting knocked down in the dirt.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's that life lesson. As easy it would be like, yeah, I would rather have a peaceful existence and not have to worry about that shit. There's still going to be something you're worried about along the way, I would imagine.
Well, I mean, you're a human, so innately, is that a word? Innately, you would have some sort of worry because people are like that.
Well,
Is that a word?
I don't really know.
There's a word similar to that, if that's not the one.
There's a word similar. Yeah, I think I'll take the normal life with the hustle.
Risk and challenge.
The risk and challenge.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. Because there's a lot of value there to that, and you know, I mean, like everybody, I've gotten beat up along the way, and it's taught me some hard lessons, man. And it's helped make me a better person, a more humble person, and that is the way, you know, Mandalorian. This is the way. That's life. And that's what. Okay, so I was thinking earlier today. I was just really jovial. I was having a great day, and I was just, you know, working like every other day. Sometimes, like, you know, it's a little monotonous, and I'm like, you know, let's just get it done, sort of thing. But today I was like really enjoying it, and I think it's really because I was taking the time to think about how fortunate I was. You know, I was fortunate to be working from home. I was fortunate to have good food, good coffee, you know, staying hydrated, you know. I was very fortunate, you know, and I was just thinking about like all these different aspects to why my day was so great. And so I just kind of wanted to talk about that to help remind people that it's important to take a moment to see the advantages of your life, because regardless of all the problems, all the risks and challenges that are in your life, there's still all of these great contributing factors to who you are as a person. And regardless of what those factors are, like, it's important to take time and notice those and give those attributes credit, because I'm telling you, man, it just made my day really great. And so I was excited about, you know, working and coming over here, and I was like thinking how fortunate I am to be doing the podcast and have the great audience, you know, best listeners in the game, and all the great guests that we've had, people come sit and talk to us, and you know, it's just good feels, man. And so I just wanted to share that.
Glad you did, man, because I think everyone's so tense right now, and it's at a point, you know, it's been at a point to everything that's been compiled on this year, you know, one thing after the next, the pandemic, the election, what have you, people losing jobs, financial stresses, you name it.
Yeah,
it's important to find the things that you can get excited about and be jovial about as you describe that emotion. There's always something to be fortunate about in this life, you know, and sometimes it's hard to pinpoint what that is. It's hard for me. There's a lot of times where I get that entitled feeling. You know, I'm like, man, today's about me, and this fucker is doing this or doing that. You know, it's easy to do that.
Yeah.
It's easy to fall into that mentality. And it's easy to fall in that selfish, entitled.
Especially when driving.
Driving was kind of what I was picturing in my head. Because that's really where I feel like you get the best display of a person. I mean, it's hard to judge a person on how they drive, but you can kind of get a good idea of, especially if you follow them long enough to see how they're behaving throughout different traffic scenarios. Yeah. To kind of understand what this person's thinking. Now, they could just be, maybe they got to run home. They got to do diarrhea.
I've had that happen before.
I have too.
And like, yeah, it's super serious. When I was driving today, I had a thought, because I'm driving an 04 Mountaineer Mercury, my Mary Mountaineer, and that thing, you know, you got to drive it lightly. You know, you want to treat it gently. And so you're driving it, and people like are constantly getting impatient behind me. Like, I'm seeing people like try to look around my car like,
oh yeah,
why is this dude? And there's a red light coming anyway, so it's like, why am I going to speed up? So the point I'm trying to get to is I'll always give people space to come in, right?
I do the same thing.
But if you got that one person that, like, I could tell they're trying to cut in line because they're impatient, I will test Mary the Mountaineer's rev her upper and see if she can handle a little cutter offer, you know, and that way I block the lane. I only do it to people who I can tell are super impatient and like trying to cut, and then the fact that when I block them, that's satisfying. That's a satisfying feeling, because you know they're already like frustrated, and then you know, like, that you successfully block that, it gets them a little, like, you know,
upset.
Yeah,
you can see them getting upset.
That's funny to me.
Yeah, I don't do a whole lot of blocking. You know, I'll let people get right up on my ass. I do the speed limit, you know, and I will slow down. I'm one of those guys that'll slow down way before the light, because there's no reason to speed to the light. There just isn't. So I'll let off. I'll start downshifting.
Yeah, you coast to the
There's
light.
Dudes just on my ass as we're coming to this red light. It's like, what's the point? What's the point? You know, and let them go around, whatever. The only time I get aggressive anymore, I used to be very aggressive on the roads, but I've calmed down, is if my safety is directly compromised. If someone swerves into my lane, you know, if someone pulls out in front of me and I have to almost lock them up to hit them, I will become irate.
Yeah.
And I will do things I'm not proud of. I'll never pull a weapon on anybody, but I'll tell you this. I will definitely pull up beside them. And one of my favorite things to do is just give them a clap. That's usually the first thing is I'll clap at them. That'll immediately spark a finger back. They usually flip me off because they're seeing me clap at them. So like, this guy's a dickhead. And then you just give them the wink, the smile, and the thumbs up.
Yeah.
That's how I've tried to take my anger and channel it.
That is the best
how
way.
can I be still a dickhead, but you know, kind of positive about it.
Yeah, the thumbs up is it is truly a testament to the patient man fu. You know, it's like saying, "Great job," not
Exactly.
You know? And they
it makes them feel uncomfortable.
They get it, yeah, because people are expecting, oh no, fuck you too. Oh, you're in my lane.
See, and I did that for a long time, and where did it get me? Nowhere. And where does this get me? Probably nowhere either, but it makes me feel better about doing it.
It does.
So that's how I handle my road rage now. And that is contingent on the day, I'll be honest. There is times where, you know, I'll start judging the guy. I'm like, this guy probably, you know, he probably fucking got like a D- in science. You know, he's angry.
Wait, you start thinking like,
yeah, I start like judging him on like his past. You know, some days I'll do that, and that'll channel some unpleasant energy.
But it's all speculation.
Of course it is, but it makes me feel better about the situation.
Yeah, no, I justifies people's horrible actions sometimes by a thought of who they are. You know, you kind of make a judgment there.
It's easy to do. It's easy to judge everybody. The fact remains, nobody knows what anyone's really dealing with. But just be courteous on the road. It's just not that hard. I don't understand. The traffic here in Denver blows my fucking mind. It blows my mind in any major city. But because I live here, this is what I have to base it on. Everyone's in a hurry to go nowhere. You see people just zooming by you, just flying. And then I end up passing them, still doing the speed limit. It's like, what are you really gaining other than maybe that adrenaline of just doing 80 in a 60?
Yeah, I mean, I've been a fast driver before, and it's fun, you know, to start passing cars.
We've all done it.
You know, but I'm just, you know, I'm past that age. Like, I did that in my late teens, early 20s, and, you know, I expect most people in that age range to do the same thing.
Oh, I did some stupid shit. I'll tell you this. My first car was a 1994 Ford Escort. It was a Mercury Tracer, but the Mercury version of a Ford Escort. And it was my first manual. It was my first car, but it was a manual transmission, so I was kind of learning how to drive it. Granted, I was in the countryside, and I would hot rod that thing everywhere. I mean, this thing had like 112 horsepower, 1.9 liter, 4-cylinder, 0 power. But what would I do? Oh, I'd still rev that bad bitch up to the red line.
High Rev Kev.
High Rev Kev. You gave me that nickname, but I'd rev that thing up to red line and dump the clutch. I blew the tranny mounts out of that thing. That clutch was so cooked by the time that I sold that car. It was unreal.
And you sold it with the cooked clutch? God.
Oh, I sold it with the cooked clutch.
That got me thinking like something clucked chicken, you know? Like, oh man, I love me some chicken. Oh, I've been eating really good this week.
Have you?
So we do this egg roll in the bowl where you just do ground pork and then you do like soy sauce, a little bit of garlic, a little bit of like some other sauce, sesame sauce or something, and then like a bunch of cabbage, and it's so good. And so we do that with rice, and it's so delicious. And then we, my girlfriend also made homemade fettuccine Alfredo last night with homemade sauce.
Oh yeah.
And
was it like a garlic-based fettuccine or just more like a buttermilk cream sauce?
Well, you know, you got garlic, you got cream, you got cream cheese.
Oh wow, that's creamy.
And so but it was so good. Parmesan goes into it.
Oh, fettuccine is amazing.
And God, that was one of the best sauces I've ever had. It was like better than so I've been eating really good this week. It's been great.
I like eating good.
Yeah.
I've been trying to do the same.
We finally, you know, because I swear it was like 3 weeks, like we were just eating out constantly.
It's easy to do.
And always ordering out. And
pay for that convenience.
Yeah, so we finally put in a large order at the grocery store. And that was one of the things that got me jovial today as well.
With the pickup?
Was this yogurt that we don't normally get because we ordered it through, you know, the home delivery service, and sometimes they swap shit. And it comes in this little glass jar, and I forget the name of it, but man, my morning was going really
was
smooth.
Was it the French yogurt?
I think maybe.
I know which one you're talking about.
But my morning was going smooth. Like the job was going well. I was happy, and then I cracked the top on this little yogurt, and it was floofy and great texture and delicious, not overly sweet. And that yogurt set my day off in the right direction.
I do not like yogurt. I like frozen yogurt, but I don't like the refrigerated, probiotic shit. I don't like it. It's not that it's a probiotic. I don't like the texture of it. It's a texture thing. And I also apply that same thing to pudding. I don't really like the texture of pudding.
Yeah, it's kind of the same as yogurt.
Yeah, it just kind of...
So what about like yogurt with granola and...
I mean, I'm not saying I won't eat it. I
parfait?
I would rather... If I'm going to do probiotics, I'm going to do kombucha.
Kombucha, I do
or
love
a sparkling
kombucha.
probiotic drink. Yeah, the yogurt, there's something about it. It's funky. The texture of it it makes me want to gag a little bit. But
I've never known that about you.
Oh, I gag pretty easily, and that's no offense.
That's what she said.
Well, I mean, I don't think I'd be a real good homosexual. I think I would lack in that area, and
I don't know, Kev.
I'm just telling you.
You should try it out before you start.
I mean, look, I'm 32 years old. This thing could go wonky, in the next few years. But all I'm saying is this: I know I can't even have the dentist take his iron hook and scrape my tooth without gagging.
Really?
I just gag.
That's pretty sensitive.
It's too sensitive. So I'm gonna there's no way I could take a penis.
So when you brush, like, I didn't know if you were actually going to say that.
I'm just telling you, I couldn't physically do it. But I don't, and that doesn't mean I have any hatred for people that do. I honestly. I think that's terrific.
Great. I just got a visual.
This is why you don't let Arthur and I do solo episodes.
So like, yeah, because the only time I will ever have a gag reflex is if I'm like brushing my tongue.
That's even worse for me.
Yeah, like so if you brush like your back teeth,
it's over.
Really?
Yeah, I gag a lot, bro, and it's a medical condition. I have GERD, which stands for gastroesophageal reflux disease.
Yeah.
Which one of the most common side effects is a sensitive gag reflex. But that being said, it makes doing simple tasks like brushing or dentist work very difficult. And I'm glad you think that's funny.
I'm laughing about you saying that you couldn't take a penis.
I couldn't. It doesn't. It just it's just the way it is.
So like if I accidentally gag while brushing my teeth or whatever in the morning, like I have a sensitive stomach though. Like I might, that phlegmy. That acid.
Sour stomach in the morning.
Yeah, no, but that's just occasionally, and yeah, so I've had that happen. I mean, the human body is pretty amazing, but at the same time, it's also pretty susceptible, and it's just interesting how different and all the varieties of people that there are, like personality types. What makes you sick, what doesn't, allergies. It's very interesting, and that's what's interesting about this C19 shit is like how it is affecting everybody differently, and it's pretty wild.
Yeah, it is, man.
I'm thankful to be a human, like just think like we're fortunate to be human beings, the fact that you could even think about that's a human thing. Like we don't even know if animals are thinking about how they think. They're probably not. Maybe dolphins.
Maybe gorillas.
Maybe whales, But, I mean, orcas, they're definitely smart as hell. They're thinking about themselves and their pack hunting. But, I mean, we're like part of a few. And just think about that, Like what I was saying earlier, like think about things that you're fortunate about. If you don't have anything on that list, then you can just say that you're human because you're on the top of the food chain, So there's a thing to add to that list.
It's a good feeling to have until you're out there in the wild, until you're out there in, Africa or some of these places. You're no longer at the top of the food chain. I think it's cool to experience wildlife up close because it really gives you that sensation of just how amazing these animals are.
Yeah.
I had the privilege of doing that a couple weeks ago. I went up to the animal sanctuary here in Colorado. And just having that eye-to-eye contact with a lion or a bear, it's incredible.
Did any of them look in your eyes directly? Do you feel like...
Not quite as much as like... It wasn't as close of an encounter as you get at a zoo, I would say. But what I liked about it was you're seeing them more in the natural environment rather than behind a glass where everyone's just coming up to it. You're essentially up on a boardwalk looking down into their living quarters.
How far out do you think you should have to Do you have to reserve it, or can you buy it day of and go?
Yeah, just walk up and go. They consider it because it's a nonprofit. You know, it's unlike a zoo. It's considered a donation to enter their facility. But fact remains, it's cool to see these epic animals and to you know, that's probably the hippie part about me. When I look at this wildlife and interact with them, it really makes me realize how easy we have it. You know, till you get out there in the wild and you got a lion on your back, or like that cougar, that mountain lion that we talked about a few weeks ago that was chasing this guy down the trail.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what that would feel like. There is no cage to separate, and that thing could have pounced them at any moment.
I'd be looking for a big stick. I'd be looking for, I mean, because that's the thing is we have all these other tools that, like, just buck naked, no tools, like, good luck, you know, but we have the brain power, and with that comes the top spot.
Comes the top spot. We got weapons, you know, we kind of control what's going on. But I'll tell you this, we need to do a word of the week because we haven't done one in a couple few weeks, and we had several submissions this week. So let's see.
Word of the week.
Let's see what we can pull up first.
Was it coming from Mississippi?
Yeah, our first one is from David in Oxford, Mississippi.
Thanks, David.
Oxford. I haven't been there, but I hear there's good gambling down there. And word of the week is bugbear. Bugbear.
It's one word.
Yeah,
Is there a hyphen?
It's a noun. Bugbear. There's no hyphen. It's a noun, and it's
Bugbear.
Bugbear.
That's frightened me. I wasn't expecting to hear that voice come right there. It surprised me. I was never frightened, actually.
All right. It alarmed you.
It alarmed me. It was surprised. A bugbear, I'm gonna say, is a type of. Is it an arachnid? Is it like a type of insect?
So it's a noun. So it's going to be a person, place, or thing, right?
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, I think that you're on to a pretty good lead there. And again, it makes us, you know, I know it sounds like I know everything, but I don't because I have it in front of me. I have no idea what this word meant until I read it.
So is it a specific type of insect, or is it like? Yeah, you're gonna have to just let us know.
You're close though. You're close.
That just is like around bear dung, something like that.
So it's an obsessive fear, irritation, or loathing. So it's
a what?
It's an obsessive fear. So like an
Okay.
arachnophobia or fear of heights or whatever you're afraid of. It's another word for that. Irritation or loathing. So
Okay, so I like. So let's say like I like the silverware in my drawer perfect, and so like I could get a bugbear if it's not in there correctly,
you could get a bugbear
or something like that.
or a plural noun would be bugbears, you know, because you could have multiple.
It's giving me bugbears.
Yep, it'd be an excessive fear, irritation, or loathing. Would be the best way to describe that. Using a sentence, I'm not really seeing a lot of good examples here, but that would be the best way to describe it. An
Yeah,
obsessive fear.
I was way off than what I was thinking.
Well, I mean, you were kind of on it when you're hinting around arachnophobia a little bit.
Yeah,
So thank you for that.
David,
Yep, Dave from Oxford,
Thank you.
Mississippi.
that was a good one.
And we also have another submission this week.
Whoa, 2 words of the week.
For 2 words of the week. Let's stack it in, man, because people are tired of hearing us bullshit about stuff we have no idea what we're talking about. So, as always, the word of the week, you guys know, you can send your submissions to discussioncombustion.com, discussioncombustion@gmail.com, all social media platforms. However you want to reach out to us, send them
You
in.
can find us, just Google Discussion Combustion.
We'll sift through it. We'll put
You'll
you on
find
the
it.
air. It'll be fun. And so our second submission comes from Jessica from Cheyenne, Wyoming.
Thank you, Jessica.
Again, another noun. And this word is
Farrier.
farrier.
Farrier?
Farrier.
Farrier.
Yeah, so we can, I
Farrier.
don't know if you guys can hear that, but that's the Google pronunciation of it.
Can you use it in a sentence?
No, I can't.
Well, I'm sure you could. It's a word. It's meant to go in a sentence, Kevin.
I mean, I could do that, but for the sake of the first one wasn't, we'll keep it to that.
Okay,
as well.
fine. We didn't do that in the
It is
first.
it is a
Farrier.
noun.
Farrier, I'm going to say...
The only hint I can give you is we should have done this one with Jacqueline, our horse guest, a few weeks ago.
So is it like a type of... it's like a type of like saddle fitting for a horse?
No.
It's like some sort of... It's like some sort of place where you keep... It's like a farm.
No.
A farrier. It's land.
No. Nope. So a farrier is a craftsman who trims and shoes horses' hooves.
Oh.
So if he's putting on that horseshoe, he's a farrier.
I've seen farrier work before, and it's very interesting how you do have to shave them down and take the old horseshoe off, put the new on.
Yeah, that would be a farrier's job.
I wonder if the horses feel that.
Probably. I mean,
Or if is it just like trimming nails? Like
Maybe.
you don't really feel
like
the
nail
nail getting
clippings.
trimmed. Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably a good comparison. Who knows? Because those things are tough, man. Those
They're huge.
Horse feet.
Horse hooves.
Horse hooves.
Hooves on the horse.
Them hooves.
Have you ever seen a horse hooves on hind legs? On a half moon.
That's
I don't know what a half moon is.
that's our words of the week.
Thank you
2
guys for
submissions
submitting
on
those. Yeah.
Keep those
That's fun.
suggestions coming in.
I've
Yeah.
never known any of these. Any of the ones that would ever have been sent in.
So far, I mean, we've had a couple of guests
There's
that have
been some
gotten
good
it.
ones. Yeah.
So that shows you our IQ level. Not very good. But
Isn't IQ the ability to learn though? Not necessarily how smart you are.
I don't know if it's about the ability to learn. I think there's certain things that they can identify with your intelligence level of how you can formulate and identify different patterns and certain knowledge aspects of it.
Because you could have a high IQ and not know words.
Well, you look at someone that has extremely high IQ, they tend to be sometimes socially awkward.
Yeah.
Someone like Sheldon Cooper from The Big Bang Theory. You kind of get that with intelligent people, but I don't think my IQ is much better than probably average.
I think mine was when I was young.
I haven't taken an IQ test in a minute.
So it's probably went down, but I tested genius levels back in the days, like 136.
That's nice.
And I feel like I'm kind of sharp and witty, but I feel awkward too. I feel very awkward. Like my friends get my jokes, but people I'm getting to know don't normally get them right away.
No, that takes. I've known you a long time and doing these podcasts with you. I still can't quite figure it out at times. And that's what makes it kind of fun.
But I don't feel like I'm a genius because I feel
you're
like
not a genius,
people
Arthur.
who sit here and they're like I'm a genius, like they're like putting themselves above others, and regardless of where your IQ is or how easy it is for you to learn or pick up on patterns, everybody gets respect. So I've never looked at it like, oh, I had a high IQ, so that makes me better than anybody. Like that's the wrong perception to get from having a high IQ.
Of course, or about anything for that matter. I mean, anything that someone has an advantage of in a certain area doesn't automatically make them better than anyone else that's in that room.
Correct.
It's about sharing the knowledge, interacting. Doesn't much matter.
It doesn't.
My opinion. Some people might put themselves a little bit different, like, I'm too educated to hang out with the common folk, stuff like that. Hey, that's your personal choice.
It is.
But we haven't touched on sports in a minute.
Yeah.
And my New England Patriots they won the last 2 games.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it feels good. Because the last time I think I touched on it was getting pretty ugly. And I think we have a long road ahead of us. I really do think this is going to be probably an 8-8, maybe a 9-7 year. But we played well against Baltimore. We got the win over the Jets, which was just barely. I mean, the Jets are the worst team in the league. We barely beat them.
Yeah, I watched. I haven't watched many Bronco games this season. I've just, I've explained this before. Weekly listeners know, but it's just like I just haven't been paying that much attention, and I love my team, and I get overly invested when I watch, and when my team is not doing that hot, it makes every single Sunday very difficult for me because I get so invested in the game. I'm like rooting them hard, so I haven't been watching that many games this season. I've just been kind of laying low.
Well, it's been a weird year for sports.
Yeah, it has. And last Sunday I was at, you can guess it, Congress Park Tap Room, and the game was on. So I started to watch some of it, and we were just getting our asses kicked by the Raiders, man. And I was like, well, this is great affirmation to why I haven't been watching this shit.
Yeah. I mean,
so I put it down.
It's frustrating.
I love my team still, Broncos, let's go, baby. But, it pisses me off.
It's tough. It's tough to watch your team struggle. I mean, this is it's been a learning curve for us to be still on a losing record this far into a season. I haven't seen that since the 90s. So
it's just a weird year. Everything's off this year. Like normally I get pissed off when people put up their Christmas lights before Thanksgiving. I'm like, it's not even Thanksgiving yet. But 2020, no judgment from me. You know, you could have put them up 2 months ago. I would have been
There's people
completely
that put
cool
them
with
up
it.
after Halloween.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's all good with me this year. Like, I'm not gonna hold any remarks on that. You know, because normally I'm like, you know, let the next holiday play out before you start setting up for Christmas.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
But this year, you know, set up those lights, get joyous. You know, let's bring some cheer into our lives through the twinkle in our eyes shining bright from the lights.
It's going to be an interesting holiday season, given the pandemic situation and people not being able to get together in large groups. You know, is the spirit still going to be there? It's what you make it, I guess. You know, however you want to do it. You do virtual things, I guess, with people. You know, there's ways to adapt. We have the technology to do that now.
Yeah.
But yeah, Thanksgiving, man, we're a week away from it.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite holidays.
I'm going to do a social distance with just my dad and his girlfriend and myself and my girlfriend. Or my girlfriend and myself. Let's say it right.
So kind of similar situation to how my girlfriend and I are going to do it.
And we're just going to wear masks inside, you know, sit down far away and, you know, just be safe, be precautious.
Yep.
You know, that's our best bet. And it would be difficult if you had a huge family like my girlfriend. They get the whole family of 15 together for these holidays.
Now, are they planning on doing that this year?
No, they're not.
I mean, I'm sure a lot of people are altering their plans.
You got to, man. You know, you got to look out for.
But there's also still a lot of people that aren't. They're going to just go on with it like they would have.
True.
I mean, that has to be the case. The mathematical uncertainties would suggest that there's going to be a number of families that still have a large gathering. Mm-hmm. So,
And
it's their
probably
choice.
all sit at the same table, no distance or anything, and
That's their choice.
it is their choice. And you know, I can agree with that. That's fine. You know, maybe it's not fine. You know,
Yeah, but
if you're planning on doing that, maybe try to go get tested prior.
I'm going to try to do that.
I mean, you know, what if Poppy's sitting across the table, you know, get old Morphar, and all of a sudden, like, he tests positive, and it was your fault. Like, you would feel kind of selfish. Like, wow, I'm at high risk. My selfish decision cost, you know, years off of my elder's life, you know? And it's like, well, if they still have 5 good years,
Yeah.
you know, you want them to live that.
But again, going back to the inconsistencies, you know, just because you're elderly doesn't mean you're going to die from this thing.
Yeah, true.
We've seen a lot of people recover from it. I mean, we've seen people in their 90s and they're
There was a person that was 100 that recovered.
covered. Yeah. So it's just so inconsistent. But yeah, the fact remains that, look, I'm not suggesting that you all be rambunctious. Take your precautions. I wear a mask every day. I sanitize when I get home. I wipe my phone off. I'm not saying this thing isn't a real threat. It's really put a burden on a lot of people's lives, a lot of people's businesses. But it's part of it. We're going to have
And
to
the
adapt and overcome.
shutdown's coming again.
It's coming. We know it's coming here in Denver probably tomorrow.
Well, yeah, because you'll be listening Thursday. It's hitting Friday the 20th.
Yep.
It would have been perfect if it hit on Friday the 13th, honestly. They should have pushed it forward a week.
I was anticipating some crazy shit to happen last Friday night because I was like, it's Friday the 13th in 2020. Superstition or not, nothing happened that I know of. I mean, I'm
Really?
sure something happened along the way. You could probably pick out, but nothing that really stands out to me.
Yeah. Did anything crazy happen to me? Was that... Is that audible?
Probably.
Whoa! You know...
Very probable.
You know, sometimes the body moves like water.
Gotta let a rip tater chip. That's what I say.
Yeah. And, man, I've been trying to see the positive attitude. Y'all just keep, you know, believing and achieving out there, you know, and it's redundant. It's an affirmation. It's supposed to get stuck in your head. You have to believe it in your mind and then achieve it in your life. You know, if you see it in your mind, you feel it in your mind like you've accomplished it, and you're working toward it, you say it to yourself, you're believing in it, whatever your goal is, it will get achieved.
You got to do something towards it every day. You know, whatever it is that you have in mind, whatever you want to work on, whatever it is you want to achieve, to backpedal off that, you got to own it. Got to own the mistakes. You know, and that's why I went with the Would You Rather. I was like, man, I want the struggles.
Yeah,
You know,
the
that
risk and the challenge.
The risk and the challenge. You know,
Yes,
because you got to
please.
take risk. You got to take failures. That's how you learn. I have done a lot of shit in this life I'm not proud of. I've learned from it. I try to do the best I can. You know, every day I'm not perfect. I'm very fortunate to have great people around me. You know, it's the season to be thankful. And I'm just very thankful to be in the position that I'm in, to do things I want to do, to have great friends who respect me. And I mean, without your friends and family, man, what do you got?
You got yourself. And if you don't treat yourself well, then you're in bad company.
It's a slippery slope.
Yeah. So I'm going to keep climbing uphill. This is it's an ongoing battle. We don't want the easy way out here. We want the tough life. I got a busted ankle. Well, guess what? Eventually I'm going to die. No big deal. The ankle's no big deal over death. It's just like, we're meant to get beaten and bruised, and it's a choice whether you let that defeat you or not. Are you going to let the bruises defeat you and shape your character in a good way or a bad way? Are you going to get weakened by the punishment, or are you going to get toughened by the punishment? And then eventually, I mean, at this point in my life, I expect there to be challenges. I expect there to be problems constantly. So that's just part of it now for me. And I appreciate the ups and the downs. That's where I'm at.
Yep. I know I've quoted him before, but Jocko Willink did a great job at capturing, anytime you're going through something bad, think of it as a positive, and I don't want to spin off of what he says, but he does a great job of just saying, look, if you're struggling, good. You lost your job, good. More time to get better, more time to learn.
Every problem is an opportunity.
It's difficult to look at it that way. I'm not saying it's easy. You can just flip a switch. I know you guys are struggling. A lot of people are dealing with a lot of things.
You got to train your brain. You got to train your brain. You got to tell yourself every day, every problem's an opportunity. Every day in every way, I get better and better. Every problem's an opportunity. Every day in every way, I get better and better. And just visualize that, see that, believe that.
Yep.
And man, it's crazy because then once you have a problem, you're almost like, yeah, I've been waiting for you.
Sure.
It's like one of those things where it's like, okay, open invitation. I'm a problem solver, no problem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and again, it's difficult. There's going to be times where your mind doesn't want to go that way. It's easy to say, man, fuck, I'm just getting kicked in the nuts time after time. This has happened, that's happened. It's been a terrible year. It really has in a lot of areas. But if we can dig down and find some good out of it, it's in there. And just doing one thing every day, somewhat, put towards where you want to be, whatever that is. Getting out of bed, doing a blog, interacting with somebody. Doing something proactive makes a difference.
It does. We deep cleaned the apartment last weekend, got rid of a lot of clutter, just completely cleaned it. And it took 3 hours, so 6 hours total between both of us. And, it changed the whole vibe. You have to do something, and Kevin and I know that we both feel that we're fortunate to be here, and we're both very fortunate and humbled to have the listenership that we've had and all the support that we've had and guests that want to come talk to us. So, from Kevin and I want to give all y'all the biggest thanks, because we truly love doing this, and it's great to be able to share it. It's great to be able to share it with everyone.
Yeah, it's important to remember, why we do it. And it's good to reflect on that, here and there. Again, it's just a lot of fun to do this. It's a difficult time. We don't know what the future holds just yet. We're going to adapt and take it week by week. We do have a guest plan for next Tuesday shoot, so we can get it out before Thanksgiving. And we're going to stick to that plan as of now. If something along the line changes, obviously we'll put it out on social media. But the fact remains, it's been a terrific year, and we're going to keep digging. We're going to keep trying. You guys do the same. You guys take care of yourselves. We appreciate the support. Continue doing what you do. Hit that like, subscribe button if you like what we do. Hit us up. We want to hear from you. That's what it's about, is connecting with you guys. We do this so we can drink beer and have a good time with each other.
And we do.
But we love talking to you guys.
Absolutely. Can't wait for next week.
We're going to shoot for it.
Absolute pleasure. Everybody stay safe out there.
Yep, y'all be good to yourselves. You deserve it.